Hello everyone, I am ANSHIKA AGARWAL working as an intern in LEXIS and Company. Today, I will tell you the rules of international law for determining the enemy character of corporations, ships, individuals and cargo. So let's begin. So what is the meaning of enemy character? When there is an outbreak of war between states, they bring out changes in their behavior against the enemies in accordance with the objectives of war. States determine their treatment in accordance with the enemy character of the individual, goods, corporation, ships, etc. Therefore, in order to regulate their activities and behavior, is necessary to determine the enemy character of individuals, goods, corporations, etc. Once the enemy character of all these is determined, the belligerent states regulates its behavior towards the enemy state accordingly. Efforts were made to formulate the rules for determining enemy character in Second Hague Conference of 1907 and Geneva Naval Conference, but no tangible success could be achieved. During the First War between different tests and standards were used to determine the enemy character of individuals, goods, ships, corporations. From the practice of states and the rules that have been formulated so far, we can derive some conclusions of the enemy character. It is, number one is enemy character of the individuals of belligerent states. Different states determine the enemy character of individuals of belligerent states in accordance with different tests and standards. For example, in Britain and America, the enemy character of individual is determined on the basis of their residence and domicile. On the other hand, enemy character of individuals in the continental countries, means European countries, excepting England, is determined on the basis of their nationality. In the other matters, there is hardly any difference in the practice of Britain and America on the one hand and continental countries on the other hand. Second one is enemy character of individuals of neutral states. The individuals of the neutral states who do not reside in the territory of enemy state are not deemed to be having enemy character. But if they participate in any activities against the belligerent states, then they may be deemed to have enemy character. Similarly, in accordance with the practice prevailing in America and England, if the individuals of the neutral state carry goods, etc., to the enemy state or territory or continue intercourse with them, they will be deemed as to having a enemy character. Next is enemy character of corporation. The enemy character of corporation is determined mainly by two things. Number one is the permanent residence and second one is the registration. In case of a corporation is registered in the enemy state, then it will be deemed to have enemy character. Similarly, the enemy character of the corporation is also determined by its permanent residence. By a permanent residence of the corporation it meant its existence and conduct of business. Likewise, a company which is registered in England but is carrying trade with an enemy state will be deemed to be an enemy company. So next is enemy character of ships. The enemy character of ships is determined by their flags. This rule was adopted by a declaration of Geneva in 1909. By the flag of the ship, it meant flag which the fish is legally authorized to use. For example, if the ship of an enemy state unauthorizingly uses the flag of a neutral state and is seized by the belligerent state, then such a ship shall be deemed to have an enemy character. Consequently, those ships which use the flags of neutral states but are actually under the ownership of the enemy state may assume enemy character under the following circumstances. Number one is if the ship is in the service of enemy state or carries arms or takes part in the conflict. Second one is if the ship resists the valid right of the belligerent state to visit and search, then such a ship may be seized and it may deemed to having enemy character. If such ship is seized, the burden of proving rests on the owners of the ship that the ship belongs to the neutral state. If it is not proved, then the ship and its cargoes are deemed to be those of enemies. Next one is enemy character of goods. The enemy character of goods is determined by their ownership. If the owners of the goods are residents of the enemy state, then the goods may be deemed to be having enemy state. The goods will not be deemed to be having enemy character. Different countries have modified and amended this rule in accordance with their conveniences and needs of time and circumstances. But the general rules which is evident from the general practice of the state is that the enemy character of the goods is determined by the ownership of the goods. Last one is transfer of goods in state. In this case, the sale of goods take place before war or without consideration. State laws applied to determine whether the transfer of ownership has been effected. If the change in ownership is attempted during the war or in view of the war, the goods are deemed to be of enemy character, and such goods are not considered to be the property of the neutral state and may be confiscated. So these were all the enemy character. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye bye.